let's go over, I guess, where Muslims will say, like, oh, Jesus didn't know the hour.
Oh, that one. That one I've
Mhm.
answered 5 million times. All right, we'll answer it again. Both Mark and Matthew record it. So if we go with the Matthean version, let's go here. But of the day and hour, no one knows, not even the angel of heaven nor the Son, but the Father alone. All right, so now notice this is chapter 24, correct? Do you think that Matthew wants you to jump to Matthew 24:36 and read that verse in isolation from the first 23 chapters?
No.
Obviously, if it's near the end of the book, he's already said a lot, written a lot about what Jesus said and did to prepare you how to understand and how not to understand this verse, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because before I get to Matthew 24:36, I get here, Matthew 11:27. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wills to reveal him. Now, let's break this down. Jesus is saying no one can comprehend him truly except the Father. Now, what does that imply? Let's go a little deep and see the implication of this. What does it mean for Jesus to say, no one is able to know me, meaning comprehend me, truly as I am, except the Father? What would that imply? Can a creature say, no one can comprehend me except God? Can you say, no one comprehends me except God, and no one comprehends God except me?
No.
But that's what Jesus just said, right? Matthew 11:20.
Mhm.
So you're going to need the Son to even figure out who God is if he wants to make him known. So
Mm.
why is Jesus saying, no one can comprehend me, the Son, except the Father? No one comprehends the Father except me, which is why I am the one that you need to make him known. What does that
Mm.
imply?
That Jesus is God because he can comprehend the Father.
And because he's God, can a finite mind comprehend him?
No.
That's why the Father alone can comprehend him, because the Father has omniscience. You got it. This statement cannot be uttered by a creature. A creature cannot say, no one has the ability to comprehend me except God. Well, we know that God is omniscient, and no one can comprehend God except me, which is why I need to make him known. You're claiming equality with God. I'm omniscient and I'm incomprehensible. Because I'm omniscient, I can comprehend God, who's incomprehensible to creatures. Because I'm incomprehensible, only God can figure me out, because you need to be omniscient to figure me out. But that's before Matthew 24. Jesus already said this before we got to Matthew 24, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So is Jesus here claiming to be the unique divine Son of God who's equal to the Father in comprehension and knowledge?
Yeah.
So if the Father's omniscient and he knows the Son inside and out completely, but then the Son says, I know the Father inside and out completely like he knows me, meaning reciprocal. I have the
Mhm.
ability that the Father has to comprehend the Father the way the Father comprehends me. That means
Mhm.
he's claiming omniscience and incomprehensibility, right?
Mhm.
Which is why you need him to make God known, because no one more qualified than him, right?
Correct.
So does the Father know all and every thought that the Son has?
Yes.
Would the Son then know all the thoughts and every thought that the Father has?
Yes.
Is one of the thoughts in the Father's mind knowledge of the day and hour?
Yes.
So if Jesus knows every thought of the Father, would he know the knowledge of the day and hour?
Yes.
So then that's your first dilemma. That means
Mm.
he does know the day and hour, but here it says he doesn't. But he does not lie. So now we have to resolve this dilemma. You see the dilemma now?
Yeah.
See, the easy way out is say, well, he doesn't know everything. Well, that's the easy way out because we're told he knows everything.
Mhm.
And we know he's not lying. So now Matthew doesn't reconcile the tension. He doesn't explain how to, he just records it as a fact because he's experiencing this. He heard and saw Jesus say, Matthew 11:27. Then he heard and saw Jesus say, Matthew 24:36. Since Jesus said all of it and he witnessed it, he records it accurately. Hey, this is what he said. But he doesn't explain it to us. So we're left trying to figure out how it can be. So there are some possible solutions. So I'm going to give you one of two. You ready?
Mhm.
If it means no one knows, then that means Of the day or hour, no one knows, meaning no man. Why? Because unless God makes it known to them, they won't know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither the angels have. Why? Because man is on earth and God is hidden to us. We don't see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless God wants to show himself and appear, God is invisible. So it makes sense that we creatures are in the dark about the day of Christ's return or the day of Christ coming to judge Israel because God hasn't appeared to us and spoken to us. But the angels are a different story because they behold God in heaven. They see God in heaven. They hear God audibly in heaven. Even they don't know. Why? Because the Father didn't make it known to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nor the Son. But hold on. The Son already told us he knows every thought the Father has, just like the Father knows every thought he has, correct?
Correct.
So he has to know. But he says, I don't know. Well, we know he's not lying. Well, it can mean he's not just God, he's human. And if he's truly human, he would have to have a true human mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in his human mind, as a man, could he know everything and be truly human?
No.
So that means there's an aspect in which Christ, existing as a man, in his human experience, in his human mind, doesn't retain the full omniscience that he has as God, because that knowledge would be hidden deep within his divine person. And it doesn't necessarily come to the forefront in his waking consciousness. And so in his waking consciousness as a man, yeah, he doesn't know. You see?
Yeah.
That's one possible solution, but there's another. And some people favor this more than the other. The word knows, it comes from the word iddo, and it's used elsewhere. Let me show you how it's used. Paul says, same word in Greek, he chose to know nothing when he was amongst the Corinthians except Christ and him crucified. Same word. 1 Corinthians 2:2. For I determined to know nothing. The word know is the same Greek word. It's from iddo, right? To know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. So notice what he's saying. I chose not to know anything except Jesus Christ and him crucified. So all I chose to know is Jesus, his work, and his death and resurrection. Now, does Paul literally mean he doesn't know anything except these two things?
No.
So what does it mean that he determined not to know anything except to know Jesus Christ, his teaching, his life, and his crucifixion and resurrection? Because he knew a lot more. He knew that he's Paul. He knew that he's writing to the Corinthians. And he mentions a lot of other things. So what does I chose not to know, I determined not to know mean here? It means I chose not to make known. I chose not to make known anything else besides Christ, his death and resurrection. So the word determined to know nothing can be translated determined not to make known anything other than this. Though I know a lot more, I won't make known these other things. I'll only make known these facts.
Mm.
Okay, we get it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's take that definition. Let's apply it here. But of their hour, no man makes it known, can make it known. Why? Because he doesn't know. So he can't make known something he doesn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not even the angels of heaven make it known. Why? Because they don't know. So they can't make known something that wasn't revealed to them. Nor the Son reveals or makes known the their hour, but the Father alone. Now, why doesn't the Son make it known? Because he's subject to the Father's will, and he only speaks what the Father wants him to say. So it hasn't been the Father's pleasure for me to make it known. Now watch, even this shows that Jesus is not a mere creature. He became human, but he's not merely human. He's equal to the Father. But of the day and hour, no one knows, meaning no human. Now humans are on earth, nor even the angels of heaven. Angels dwell in heaven. Now, that's all of creation, right? Heaven and earth. So that means no creature in heaven and earth can make it known, right? Now, where's the Son, though? If the angels of heaven means the creatures of heaven, all of them, and no man knows, meaning humans on earth, that's all of creation, right? But where did the Son place himself? Is he part of the angels in heaven?
No.
Is he part of the humans on earth, even though he became man? Or is he more than that?
He's more than that.
Notice among all of these, who is the one who's the son to the Father? He is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he just put himself on a higher plane. He's saying, I'm greater than humans on earth. I'm greater than angels in heaven. I'm greater than creation because I'm the son who's separate from creation and who belongs to the Father.
Hmm.